Next project is wrapping this house with vinyl. I've already done a couple of sides, but I'm just going to show you how I did it, and we'll get right into it. I've already started, so I'll kind of walk you through the starter strip, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. This right here is your starter strip. You want to make sure the curve goes out, facing out. Don't put it this way near the wall. You won't ever get your vinyl to start. You'll get all ticked off and have to flip it around like I did the first time. So make sure your lip is facing out. You'll drop down with a tape measure. You'll drop down 1 inch from your OSB or your plywood. You'll drop down 1 inch and mark a line, and I'll show you. Right here, it's 1 inch below my wall. It comes down because you don't want the starter strip above your wall, because you might have some water that will run off and run into your walls, and that's not what you want. So what I did was I dropped it down 1 inch, and I drew me a little line, put a nail hole for chalk line. I took this bullet level, stuck it on my chalk line, and then I popped the chalk line and laid my starter strip. I spaced them about every 8 inches or so. You can stagger it whichever way you want to do it, but that's the starter strip. Just added it on. Pretty self-explanatory. Just stay on your chalk line and it should be level. You can also check it with your level if you have to. I got a 6 foot level right there. Next thing I like to do is find all my studs in my walls. So what I do to find my studs is I take my trusty stud finder and I tap on the wall. There's a stud there. You can hear the change in the thump. And I take a number 8 penny nail, or number 8 nail, and drive it in there just to make sure you can hear that it's solid. I'll take my level, level it up top to bottom, and I should be pretty close to center of that stud. Take my pencil and I mark it from top to bottom. That way when I install the vinyl, I'm going into a stud and not just the plywood that it goes onto. I want as much of that nail to grab as much wood as you can when you're doing it. You can also stretch it out 16 inches and do the same thing. And I'll just pull my nail out and reuse it. So we'll go ahead and mark all the studs, and then we'll go start laying the vinyl. So if you do have a faucet, they make these little covers for vinyl siding. There's 2-part, they actually split apart there. So you can unscrew your faucet here and there, and then pull it out just a little bit, enough to clamp it back in place. Nail it and use a level to make sure it's level when you line it up. Nail it in a few spots and be good. And then once you get your vinyl on, you slide this cover on there and it cleans it up real nice. Same with the light fixture. Just ran this, screwed it in place, leveled it, and then I'll just put my vinyl on and it'll cover it up nice and neat. All right, before we get started, I just want to let you know that I think personally vinyl is fairly easy to do as far as installation. And get started here in just a second, but like I said, for a beginner, I think it's possible. No need in being an expert to lay vinyl out, as long as you follow some simple basic steps and making sure everything's level That's the main thing, is you want to make sure everything's plumb and level before you get started putting your vinyl on. After that, you just lay it and go. Every 2 or 3 racks up, you want to make sure that you're level, and we go with that. All right, so let's get started. Once you get your vinyl on, check it. It should slide back and forth freely without falling off. If it falls off, it means it's not locked in place. Next thing, put one right in the center, somewhere around about center. Don't hammer it all the way in. You don't want to hammer your nails all the way in, and it leaves room for expansion and contraction. So I like to leave mine to where with the heat, hot and cold, the vinyl will move and allow for movement. If you pull it tight, hammer it tight, no movement, and it buckles. The vinyl will actually buckle. So just leave your nails right flush with the lip most of the time, if you can see that. Whatever, close enough, very close to it. And you go through and nail all your studs, and we'll start again. Put another piece on. I'm just shy of having 2 pieces, full pieces work. So looks like about 8 inches right there. So what I'm going to do is going to take my framing square. I've marked it where I need it cut at. I'm going to take my framing square, mark it this way, flip it over, mark it that way, take my 10 snips, put it right on the line, and then go and install it. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is talk about the finish trim. Finish trim goes underneath the window sills, and it also goes up top, right below your soffits in your J channel. What that does is, if you don't have a full piece of vinyl siding, it slides up in there and locks it in place. That way you don't have to put a nail in it. Some people put nails, other people use this. It's about $6, so I think it's worth it. I'm gonna put it under this window here, and that window over there. Whenever I do the soffits, I'll do it at the top. I'm gonna leave the final piece of vinyl off until I get the soffits completed. So I'll just cut these short and nail them in on both windows, and continue on putting the vinyl up. Just that easy.
Thank you.